Stanford caused Texas a little bit of issues, but now they're starting to attack behind the 1-3-1. The defense itself employs 4 defenders above the foul line, so you have to play behind it on the baseline, especially because there's a point guard back there. Watch this little 2-man game by Cunningham and Dessou, perfectly executed, playing behind the 1-3-1. Terrific adjustment by Rodney Terry after the early snafus against that zone.
Well, that zone trying to force the Texas Longhorns to shoot from beyond the arc, and it succeeded to that point. 2 for 8 for the Longhorns.
It has. Now he would have 1-2-2 full court pressure or 3/4 court pressure by Stanford. Again, Jared Haas comes out of the Roy Williams, Dean Smith multiple defense school. So they're throwing, it's like a baseball pitcher, Rich. You don't just throw the fastball unless you got an unhittable man-to-man defense. You like that mixed metaphor there?
I love it. There's Marcus Carr giving the Longhorns their first lead of the afternoon with 11:10 to go in the first half.
The 50-year senior has been very efficient this season for this Texas Longhorn team.
A 7-0 Longhorns run has them up 12-11. And the Stanford answer. Another late shot clock.
Great defense. That's no middle lead.
Corner.
Yep.
And we've got a jump ball. It'll stay possession, Stanford.
2.4 on that shot clock. That's what we mean by no middle defense, because they funneled the ball to the baseline and they won't let it come back to the middle. You see that right there? That's what we mean by no middle. Now, this is no revolution in defense. A lot of great coaches, Bob Knight included, have been doing this for many, many years.
Here's Jones. He had to get it up.
Didn't know it.
He wasn't aware that the shot clock was winding down, and Michael Jones turns it over. That's the 5th Stanford turnover this afternoon. And again, that has been the fly in the ointment this year and in previous years for Jared Haas.
Yep, and you wouldn't have thought that a Davidson transfer and a young man who's in the master's program at Stanford wouldn't see the clock.
Agarwal got his hand on that one, forced the Texas turnover.
Good look. It's a good pass. And James Keefe just didn't have his head up. Mike O'Connell said, "My bad," which is a great point. You know, sometimes as the point guard, you got to take responsibility for those mistakes. And he just said, "My bad." And I think James has got to run the floor with that head up. Watch the ball screen here.
Carr puts it on a string, can't hit his 2nd straight jump shot. And a foul is going to call on Dylan Dessou, his 2nd.
Rich, one of the reasons pick and roll has not been an effective offense this year for Texas is because both point guards, they're a score-first duo, and I would love to see them have better vision. Great point guards see all 5 defenders, and Carr and Hunter are so good at scoring one-on-one. Oftentimes they play with tunnel vision.
Timmy Allen back on the floor for Rodney Terry's Texas Longhorns, and they show some full court pressure. Stanford hasn't scored in about 3.5 minutes, Fran. What do they need to do?
They need to get the ball into the paint, either by pass or by dribble. But they're not going to score from the perimeter because Texas's defense is strong outside that 3-point line.
Here's Keith, top of the key. 5 on the shot clock.
Again, you said it before.
With 2 to shoot, way off the mark. And here comes Marcus Carr and the Texas Longhorns.
Marcus got to have his head up on those drives.
Allen. And a foul with 13 seconds on the shot clock.
Remember, Timmy Allen is a former All-Pac-12 first-team performer. After his junior year at Utah, take a look right here. Don't think Agarwal was established, but I think Timmy Allen is the key to this team. I really do, Rich. They've got a lot of different quality pieces, but he's such a mismatch at the 4, and we've seen him dominate games, particularly when he was at Utah, that I think that he has to get back to that kind of level if this Texas team is going to be reaching its potential this season.
These 2 teams played last year in Las Vegas. Timmy Allen had 11 points and 5 boards against the Cardinals. With 8 on the shot clock, Cunningham surrounded surrounded by black jerseys. And it'll stay Texas basketball, but with 6 on the shot clock. Dylan Mitchell will check in for Covington.
Well, we've had a combination early of very solid defense, scouting report defense. These teams know each other's strengths, and poor offensive play, poor guard play. The ball is not getting into the paint easily.
5 to shoot. Number 5 will. And he gets swallowed up by the Cardinal D.
Angel did a terrific job of leaving his feet and staying vertical. And Marcus Card not going to score over the 6'9" forward. Take a look now. Watch Brandon Angel come into your picture and just gets his hands to the ceiling. Doesn't break that plane of verticality. Excellent defense. Defensive clinic so far by both teams, but not a work of art offensively.
Here's Ingram with a little bit of a mismatch. Now Texas switches. Elbow jumper's good by Spencer Jones.
That's the closest they've gotten to getting in the paint, but Jones is important. Good run out by CB Bishop.
Bishop gets blocked again. The interior defense for the Cardinals has been impressive.
Yeah, Renault is an impressive freshman. You're going to hear a lot about him as his career moves forward at Stanford. 7-1.
Ingram lost the handle, out of bounds. It'll stay Stanford basketball.
Maxime Renault, you mentioned, he probably knows by now that Argentina has won the World Cup. But this young man, a very promising prospect out of France. Rich, he started his career in Nanterre, which is a pro club, and on the youth level, he played with a guy named Victor Wembanyama, who you and I and everybody in the world knows will be the first pick in next year's NBA draft.
5 to shoot. I don't think I've ever said that more in the first half than I have today.
Texas has to push the pace.
They do, but Allen can't hang on to that pass. An errant toss from Tyrese Hunter causes another Texas turnover, and we have a timeout on the floor.
Well, Spencer Jones, very important to this Cardinal attack. When he and Ingram are going, they can compete at the top of the Pac-12.
But it has been an issue for the Stanford Cardinal. 7 of their 18 possessions so far have gone under 5 seconds left in the shot clock.
Yeah, they don't have the ability to play in the paint off penetration or a big guy you can throw it to force the double team. In Texas, we mentioned, and it's been true on both ends, locked in, both teams keeping the opponent out of the paint, so you have a low percentage and we have a low scoring game. And Rich, there was a clarification on that three-point shot, correct?
Yep, it was a 2-pointer
by Marcus Card.
Marcus Card, confirmed.
By rule, you go to the next under TV timeout and take a look at it. They did, and the foot was on the line. 2-point basket.
There's Michael Jones.
You're going to say it again, Rich.
Something tells me you're right, Frank. 5 on the shot clock for the 8th time. But this time, Spencer Jones pays it off.
And how? Penetration to the lane. They must find a way to spread that defense out so that you can attack off the dribble. Good job by Spencer Jones.
The leading scorer for the Cardinal, leads all scorers today with 7. Here's Carr looking to penetrate. 10 to shoot. Bounce pass inside. Mitchell with the circus leg.
There's the lesson coming out of both timeouts. We must penetrate the paint off the dribble. You know, we've said piece of the paint for a million years, and now that term is ubiquitous. And there's a great example. Get a piece of the paint off the dribble, and your offense will be better.
And Reno lost the handle. That'll be a backcourt violation on Stanford. Turnover number 8 on this afternoon.
Let's go back and watch, Rich. Watch the driving lane by Spencer Jones all the way to the rim. Good use of the left hand. And then you'll see right here, penetration by Timmy Allen and Dylan Mitchell, the precocious freshman, finishing at the rim. But again, offense against good defense. The key is to make the defense collapse on the ball and then find the open man, or score yourself if they don't help.
Say what you want about the Texas struggling offense, Frank. They've assisted on every one of their field goals.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Mitchell almost lost it. Here's Allen.
Good job of switching. See, they're not passing the ball.
5 to shoot. Now 3 on the clock. Rice for 3. Sir'Jabari Rice has had the hottest hand so far.
It's a young man that 3 times in his career at New Mexico State went to the NCAA tournament. Last year, they knocked off UConn.
Jones, nice touch off the window for his first.
Nicely done. Young man who is the first graduate transfer in the Stanford's program's history after 5 years at Davidson playing for Bob McKillop.
The first time in a dozen years that Stanford's had any type of transfer.
Hard to get into school there, Rich. I don't know if you knew that.
This just in.
See where those black jerseys are? Surrounding the paint.
Allen, turnaround. First 2 of the game for Timmy Allen, averaging 8.7 a game coming in.
Nicely done. Both teams' offenses loosening up right now. Ball movement better, penetration to the lane better.
Coming up on 5 minutes to go. It's a 2-point Texas lead. Coming in ranked 7th in the country. Playing up the line. Timmy Allen with the steal. And the finish at the end. And a chance at a 3-point play.
Timmy was manufacturing contact up the floor. Reynaud needs to let him go or get back in front. Take a look. Watch the steal now by Timmy Allen. We told you he's critical to this team. Little bump, and then right at the end, a little push at the end, not much. Reynaud disagrees. But Timmy Allen with a good finish. Young man from Mesa, Arizona. Rich, this young man lost his mom while he was in high school, and he transferred high schools to be closer to his mom's hospice care. Tells you the kind of son he was. And again, 3 terrific years at Utah, 2nd year at Texas. And his brother Teddy was a pretty good player who we remember from our Big 12 days.
And there was a connection with Sir'Jabari Rice coming over here because he played and knew Teddy Allen. And so he got to meet Timmy that way, and they made an instant bond. Largest lead of the game for the Horns. It's 5.
Yes,
and now it's 3 after that lay-in by Harrison Ingram, his first 2 of the game.
And you see how penetration becomes difficult to defend if you can get into the paint.
Ingram had 15 and 7 last year against the Longhorns in Vegas.
Oh, nice shot fake.
Rice.
Better ball movement by Texas.
5 to shoot.
Gotta go.
Hunter squeezes one off, and it's off to the left. The hustle by Brock Cunningham, but Ingram keeps it.
They got numbers.
And an offensive foul as Timmy Allen had position.
Well, Cunningham was in the backcourt on the floor, and Stanford with an advantage, but watch Timmy Allen. Close call right there. But a little bit of that grit and toughness.
Timmy Allen playing in his 129th career game. One of 4 Longhorns on the roster for Rodney Terry, who have played in at least 120 or more games.
And it speaks to the experience, not only on that team as players, but also the coaching staff. There you see the numbers without Chris Beard today. Nice cut inside. Pass. Yep.
In the scoring column. Now things starting to click a little bit for this Texas.
Better ball movement, better penetration.
Keith guard by Cunningham. Deep 3 by Jones. It's good.
He can do that, Rich. He is a big-time shooter. 38% career at Davidson.
Texas offense, 8 for their last 12 from the field. Make it 9 for their last 13, but a flop is called.
Now, I want to see this because the first flop was an easy one to make. But when you're a shooter, sometimes instinctively you fall backwards to keep yourself from getting hurt. Let's take a look right here. I don't know. I don't think he's trying to trick the official, but that's the rule. Welcome to college basketball this year.
To the half, we'll take you through an unbelievable Saturday, which spanned from Alabama to Madison Square Garden in New York to the desert out west. It's all coming up at the half. What have we seen in the first half here?
Well, Texas's ball and body movement recently has been really good. The back cuts have been excellent. They've been able to get in the paint. Sir Jabari Rice, the New Mexico State transfer, off to a great start with 8 sets.
Fonz, it takes time to what? Settle into a game. Fred, ubiquitous and precocious in the same half? I mean, I'm getting my glossary out. I want to make sure I know what's going on here.
This is not FDU, Seth. This is Stanford. This is not the Harvard on the Hackensack. This is Stanford, Seth.
Brandon Angel has all 4 of his points from the free throw line. That technical coming after a flop being called on Timmy Allen for the Texas Longhorns. Allen on the bench now, Texas with a 3-point lead. We'll see Zubin and Fonz and coach coming up in 3 minutes and 10 seconds when halftime approaches here from American Airlines Center in Dallas.
Neither coach is going to complain. Oh, that's an offensive foul. Yep, Keefe turned into the defender and used that butt. Take a look, watch Keefe pivot into Marcus Carr right here. Impedes his progress, and that is an offensive foul.
Stanford, 10 turnovers, and Texas has cashed in 11 points off those turnovers.
Small lineup right now for Texas. I haven't seen this lineup, I think, all season.
Rice. Seen a couple of good shot fakes by Sir Jabari Rice. Hunter can't pay it off in the corner.
Brock Cunningham is the 5-man right now for Texas. 4 guards.
15th seldom used Benny Gieler, making his 2nd appearance all season for Jared Haas. 15 in black.
Oh, good cut. Missed him.
Jones, catch and release, got it. 2nd one from the wing for Michael Jones.
Because of that back cut, it sucked the Texas defense in a half step, and that freed Michael Jones, young man out of Minnesota, Woodbury, Minnesota, to knock down his 2nd free.
And he's really struggled from beyond the arc coming in. 6 for his last 37 in his last 6 games, but he has 2 this afternoon.
That young man opened up his Stanford career with 31 at Pacific.
Under 2 minutes to go with 5 on the shot clock. Morris tried the backdoor cut to Carr, and it goes out of bounds. That's a Texas turnover. Allen and Mitchell on for Texas now. Well, we have just our 2nd tie of the afternoon, but this entire first half frame has been played inside a 6-point window.
Well, and primarily because neither team has really done an effective job of scoring.
Both offense is a little slow to get going on an early tip. Here's Jones working on Allen. That's a good matchup one-on-one. Hunter, the offensive or the defensive rebound. And Allen in transition.
Timmy Allen not only defended the missed shot on the far baseline, but got himself up the court quickly. Take a look right now. Timmy Allen releases, and watch Tyrese Hunter. Great throw-ahead pass. We call that a lay-it-out front pass. Right over the defense to Timmy Allen, and a great catch and finish by the young man from Mesa, Arizona.
Preseason first team all Big 12. He's on the Wooden Watch list, the Irving list for best small forwards in college basketball. One of the leaders on this veteran Texas club.
And he's starting to come into his own. He was outstanding against Illinois in Texas's only loss. A little pressure now by Texas. Again, Texas, I think, has to make this a little bit more of a track meet in the 2nd half. This is a good tempo for Jared Haas's team.
Swing it to Ingram on the left side. Ingram with the step through, and we're going the other way. That's Harrison Ingram's first foul.
And Jabari Rice rotates over. Take a look. He's got to have 2 feet on the ground. And he tries to go Euro on him, and it doesn't look like a charge, but if you've got 2 feet facing the defender, that's the rule.
When I asked you earlier, why is Texas's defense so good? The first word you used was toughness. They have drawn 5 offensive fouls today.
Yep, and you see how the ball flows to the baseline where they picked up some of those charges. That's because they keep the ball out of the middle and use the baseline and the sideline as 2 extra defenders.
10 on the shot clock. Carr Float game, no. Spencer Jones the rebound. Stanford still down just one possession. Here's Keeler. Guarded by the reigning defensive player of the year in the Big 12, Tyrese Hunter. But Keeler's got a float game for him.
Young man out of Rolling Hills High School in L.A. Looks like Adam Sandler a little. My buddy from Hustler. How about that, man? Comes off the bench. He's done a great job.
5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. 5 to shoot. Hunter, backdoor cut. 10 for Rice, 10 for Timmy Allen, and a timeout on the floor by the Stanford Cardinal. Use it or lose it time for Jared Haas. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. A 3-point lead for the number 7 Longhorns.
Die Hard. Good choice.
Only one I trust.
Imagine if everything had the reliability, durability, power of Die Hard. Diehards choose Die Hard, and they get it at Advance Auto Parts.
Officials are taking a look at that last possession. What are they looking at, Fred?
They may be looking at the ball going through the basket and when the clock stops.
And the College Football Playoff National Championship on ESPN.
Here, clock should still run until there is a timeout call. In the second half, the clock stops in the at the end of the game, under a minute. But in the first half, the clock continues to run. They want to just adjust that by 0.4. Now you have plenty of time here, Rich. You've got 5 dribbles at least to get it up the floor.
We're gonna have to do it against pressure. Here's Keeler working on Carr and gets the foul on Marcus Carr.
But that's only 13th foul, so good strategy right there by Marcus Carr. The only thing I don't like about that is that you don't want Marcus Carr picking up some cheap fouls in the first half and have it come back to bite you later. Again, they can foul again here. We like to have a catch and shoot play in this situation. Right
there's the guy with it. And it's contested by Rice. Defense, the story of the first 20 minutes, so it's only fitting that Sir'Jabari Rice ends it with a block. But Timmy Allen leading the Longhorns with 10 points.
Absolutely the key to this team's success going forward. Timmy Allen has to play at a Big 12 level, and he has so far. He's already played at a Pac-12 level.
3-point lead for the Longhorns. We've reached halftime. Now we go to the halftime report in the studio. Here's Zubin Mehenti. Challenge. It's a Pac-12, Big 12 matchup, and number 7 Texas has a 3-point lead. 31-28 over the Stanford Cardinal. Back inside the house that Dirk Nowitzki built alongside Fran Fraschilla. I'm Rich Hollenberg, courtside at the American Airlines Center. And Fran, Dirk Nowitzki aside, Timmy Allen has led the way for the Texas Longhorns with 10 points. This is a Texas Longhorn team that had 11 assists on their 13 made field goals.
Yes, and they don't shoot the three-point shot well. It's under 30%. They've done most of their damage this year in the paint. And Timmy Allen is a guy that leads the way in the painted area. Take a look at 6'5". He's a mismatch forward. Watch him get in deep. Feeds it to Dillon Mitchell. Here's another opportunity scoring in the paint, but in the transition game. And of course, he'll do some dirty work too, taking some charges. Again, we mentioned this is a team, Texas scores 39 points a game in the paint. They only had 12 in the first half. The good news for Rodney Perry, the acting head coach, is that they started to really exploit the low post, the low block, the low paint at the end of that half.
Here's a look at our Dell Technologies first half stats. Allen and Rice for Texas, both chipping in with 10 points. Michael Jones, the Davidson transfer to Stanford, leading the Cardinal with 8 points. But you see the turnovers. 12 Stanford turnovers has led to 11 Texas points. And coming into that game, that was a glaring mark on both teams. Stanford 287th in the nation in turnovers. They average 14.5 a game. Texas 13th in the nation in forcing turnovers. They force 18.5 a game. First shot off the mark, but we have a foul on the floor.
We talked to Coach Haas yesterday. Last year, Rich, at the end of the season, they were terrific in the Pac-12 tournament, knocking off Arizona State, almost knocking off Arizona. They were a half-court set play team, and he basically was the point guard from the sideline. And he said to us yesterday he may have to go back and look at this that way. It's going to come off.
Here's Jones. Corner three ball, the third three of the day for Spencer Jones.
Good start right there by the Stanford Cardinal.
10 points for Spencer Jones. We have a tie ball game. Allen,
nice
blocked by Jones.
Yep.
Spot up three, Marcus Carr.
Good effort right there to get that ball outside quickly to Marcus Carr with the defense scramble.
Well, three's not the specialty for this Texas Longhorns team.
Hey, push it back, right?
Carr rips the rebound and wants to push.
Oh, nice pass.
The one more to Hunter. Wide open, pays it off.
What a great play by Dylan Mitchell. Instead of running the defender over, he caught it on the move, jump stop, kicked it to the corner, and then the one more pass to Tyrese Hunter. Really well done.
Reyno throws it away. 3-on-0. DeSue with the slam. And Jared Haas wants to talk it over. An inauspicious start to this second half. An 8-0 run for the Texas Longhorns leads to their largest lead of the game.
Good. Excellent, yeah. Is this a 30? There's a full.
Largest lead of the game for the 7th-ranked Texas Longhorns, and Marcus Carr showing that this Longhorns team plays for each other.
Yeah, I like this here. Watch Marcus Carr come up with this loose ball. There was no defender ahead of him. He could have easily scored it. Looks ahead, scoops it up, hits Dylan DeSue, and all of a sudden this Texas team has an 8-point lead.
And they are feasting on Stanford turnovers. 13 Cardinal turnovers has turned into 13 points for the Longhorns. And almost another one right out of the break. Good hands by Carr knocking that out of bounds, and you could tell they are locked in for this second half.
And that's not a steal. We know it. You've heard me say it a million times. It's UB Brown's old deflections. A deflection's not a steal, but it does disrupt your offense. Look where he's got to start with the ball, O'Connell.
Tyrese Hunter, co-defensive player of the year last year when he was with the Iowa State Cyclones.
There's that no middle. See, they won't let that ball get to the screen, but they did.
Under 5 on the shot clock again for Stanford. And they come up empty. 50-50 ball, who wants it? It's a jump ball, and it'll be Texas possession.
You know, it broke my heart, honestly, when Tyrese Hunter left Iowa State. And obviously, he's at a great place at Texas. Great year, and you know how those fans are up there, Rich. He would have been one of the all-time greats. You know, like Monty Morris and Niang and Hoiberg. But
times have changed.
Times have changed. And hey, you know what? He's a great fit here in Austin. Good cut right there. Nice play by Harrison Ingram. Good pass by Timmy Allen. Excellent defense by the sophomore.
Let's see if Stanford could turn it into some offense, some much-needed offense.
Well, remember, their strength in the first half when they were scoring was the penetration game. That's good D. Here's Keith. Needed to shoot that.
Yeah, he had the shot.
Nice
Instead, he gives it up to Angel. Nice pass from James Keith to Brandon Angel.
Good patience right there by James Keith.
Here's DeSue working on Keith. Sizes him up and knocks down the jumper.
Very patient by Dylan DeSue. Young man who transferred back from Vandy, grew up here in the Austin area, up in Pflugerville.
He has 9 today, had 11 off the bench last year against Stanford. Ingram falling down, threw it up on the window and comes up empty.
See Texas getting out and running now.
The ball's starting to sing for the Longhorns on offense. Hunter looking for the lob. But Dylan Mitchell got caught under the basket.
The defender did a good job of not letting Dylan elevate.
Coming up on 4 minutes gone by in the second half. Well, Texas, their largest lead.
Yeah, Ingram had a chance to post up there. They just didn't see him.
Angel trapped and comes up empty. That's Texas defense to a T.
Yeah, Dessou's been really good at protecting the rim.
Carr for three. Yes!
Again, good footwork by Timmy Allen in that high paint area. Got stuck out there, but he knew how to kick it out, under control.
Second three of the second half for Marcus Carr. And Keefe rolls that one in.
Excellent offense right there. I like this. Watch out.
Dylan Mitchell showing that athletic ability again.
The young man's been quiet today, but I love his game. He's an energy guy. He plays with a lot of joy. One of the more talented freshmen in the country.
Our high school recruiting guru, Paul Biancardi, had Dylan Mitchell rated as the #4 recruit coming out of high school.
We'll see #3 tonight in Keontae George at Baylor. Stanford starting to move the ball well and getting the ball inside. I like it.
Allen. Mitchell can't get the tip. And good work by Ingram, tipping it to his teammate O'Connell. Keefe. And the foul's going to be called on Timmy Allen.
You know, we're starting to see James Keefe play really well right now. Good energy, but go back the other end. Marcus Carr knocking it down from deep.
Events that transpired early last week. Chris Beard no longer coaching right now for the Texas Longhorns. So Rodney Terry is the acting head coach, but he certainly isn't on an island in that department.
He's got over 100 years of experience. There you see Bob Donewald Jr., who has not only been a college coach, but an NBA assistant. He was actually the coach of the Chinese Olympic team in 2012 in London. And an offensive guru, Rich, a good friend, known him a long time. You know the name Bob Donewald as the former head coach at Illinois State and Western Michigan and former Bob Knight assistant. And Bobby D, a very good offensive mind. Rodney Terry, before the absence of Chris Beard, was essentially the defensive assistant to Beard, and Bob Donewald the offensive assistant. But when you talk about Steve McLean and Chris Ogden on that bench, what did I say, 100 years of experience?
And they've all been head coaches.
That's right, not an exaggeration. When you see Steve McLean and Ogden, Chris Ogden, former player at Texas, for Rick Barnes.
Bob Donewald spent a lot of time in the NBA as well. When he walked into this gym, he said, the last time I was here, I think, was during the NBA Finals in 2003.
Well, remember, he coached LeBron James as a rookie with the Cavaliers with the late Paul Silas.
There's Serge Rice, his third three of the afternoon.
Rich, virtually all but 3 baskets so far for Texas have been assisted.
Yep.
In fact, it's better than that. It's 18 out of 20 baskets. Take a look, the ball movement, we mentioned it, getting better and better. Good screen. And Jabari Rice is, they were really excited, not only about Tyrese Hunter transferring to Texas, but this kid is what I would call he's got winning DNA. He's not highly recruited. He played for TJ Ford's AAU program, but ended up at New Mexico State. And then after 3 years there now on the 48.
Wednesday night, the inaugural Jumpman Invitational continuing from Charlotte, featuring Michigan and North Carolina. That's at 7 Eastern on ESPN. A lot of people feel, Fran, this is the year of the big man in college hoops. You'll see 2 great ones in that game. Hunter Dickinson for Michigan, and of course Armando Bacot for the Tar Heels.
Very much so. Armando has had just an amazing career. I think he's over 60 double-doubles. Win yesterday for them in overtime.
So here come the Longhorns on offense. 4 for 4 for 3 in the second half. 7 for 11 overall from the field.
And the ball's singing now, as you mentioned earlier. See that side to side?
Allen trying to get 2 feet in the paint. Skip pass, Cunningham, 3. Can't get that one to go.
Good inside out, like the ball movement.
Stanford still with a puncher's chance.
Eddie Giller back in. He gave this team a big lift in the first half. He's a preferred walk-on out of Rolling Hills High School in the LA area.
10 on the shot clock. Here's Giller.
He sees the floor well, and he's tough.
3 to shoot. Tried the bounce pass in the paint. And it's a loose ball taken away by Texas.
He's got a great shot. He does.
And he had an open lane because of it.
I'll tell you, he nails that pivot foot to the ground. The eyes come up, the ball comes up, and the defender comes up.
He was a high school football star, didn't play basketball until his sophomore year in high school. And now he's leading this team in scoring with 15.
What's this shot fake right here? Whoop. And the C's part right down the lane for Jabari Rice. Tell you, that's textbook, man. That pivot foot was locked to the ground. The key on a shot fake is it has to look like your shot. So what we used to teach was a 6-inch shot fake and eyes on the rim so the defender bites. You can't really do it any better than Jabari Rice.
7 minutes gone by, second half. 7th-ranked Texas with an 11-point lead over the Stanford Cardinal.
Gotta go.
3 to shoot. Stop me if you've heard this before. A shot clock violation. The Texas defense rises up again.
Giller's done a good job of getting the ball in deep. But that time, James Keefe got to have that shot clock in his head. Keefe's been really good first 8 minutes of this second half and not used to catching that ball on the three-point line trying to make a play.
Fran, that's the 10th possession that has gone under 5 seconds for the Stanford offense.
Not a surprise. Texas, one of the better defensive teams in the country. We come in today as the 5th best. Bishop foul. Good driving lane right there by Christian Bishop. Nobody in the low post, so he's got a one-on-one opportunity. And he's on his left hand. And you see Keefe a little over-exuberant. Breaks that plane of verticality. And the former Creighton starter, 2 years now here at Texas. Good effort right there.
The left-hander playing his 134th career game as a collegiate athlete. Misses the chance at the three-point play, but extends Texas's lead to a baker's dozen. Rice. Here's the turnover. Almost. But Keefe comes away with it. In the backcourt. Stanford's going to have to hustle. And Giller is fouled on the floor. That's going to go on number 2, Arterio Morris.
Morris needs to know, low clock right there. You make Giller make a play, but don't bail him out and give him an extra 15 seconds right there. Eddie Giller played for a guy named Harvey Catani, and a lot of people who follow high school basketball know he's the winningest coach in California history at Fairfax High School, which had a lot of great college and NBA players, and went to Rolling Hills, built a really good program there, and then he a 4-year starter for Harvey. Look at this effort.
Bishop again. Oh, and it's blocked by Merle.
Love that effort by Merle. And there's a little Omaha connection here because we mentioned Bishop played at Creighton. Well, this kid played at Millard North High School. He said, no way. Played on some really good teams. You know how Hunter Salas at Gonzaga, former teammate. But Horn fans loved the effort, and they did call a foul.
So Bishop will go to the line and shoot 2. Knocks the first one down. Week 15 in the NFL concludes with Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers in the pack, hosting the Rams at Lambeau, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ABC, as well as the Manning cast on ESPN2.
Did you watch the last 4 minutes of that Ram game with Baker Mayfield?
Oh, my goodness.
That was unbelievable.
Reports of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. Texas with a 15-point lead. It's a good time to be a Longhorns fan. Congratulations to their volleyball program last night, winning a national championship. Yep. Logan Eggleston, the National Player of the Year. Jared Elliott, the Big 12 Coach of the Year for the 9th time.
And I thought their serving against San Diego wasn't up to par, but last night they were on their game. No question about it. But, all right, watch this, young ladies and men. You want to see a shot fake? Take a look right here. Whoop! To the rim. Yep. Anchor that pivot foot on the ground and take off and fly through the sky.
The college football playoffs semi.
Stanford, maybe the most memorable, happened back in 2008 in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. DJ Augustine had 23 points and 7 dimes to lead number 7 Texas over then number 10 Stanford, who featured the Lopez twins. Brooke had 26 and 10 in that game, albeit a 20-point loss.
Yeah, DJ Augustine, one of the great point guards in Texas history, now retired, living in Houston. And if there's a connection to that team, Rodney Terry was part of Rick Barnes' staff. And during that time, there's Chris Ogden. He was an administrative assistant at the time. But Rodney Terry, part of a group of Texas coaches who recruited 10 McDonald's All-Americans while he was here with Rick Barnes. We mentioned DJ Augustine, obviously TJ Ford, a guy named Kevin Durant.
How's he doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good career.
Well, DJ's probably watching this game at home right now in Houston and loving what he's seeing. 19 assists on 22 made field goals for the Longhorns.
You know, DJ, he just came off the golf course a little while ago. Started playing golf a couple of years ago.
Watching this from the 19th hole.
Little pressure now by Stanford, trying to get the rhythm of this game changed. They're going to go back to a straight 2-3 zone right now.
Well, the zone bothered the Longhorns in the opening moments of this game, but in the second half, the Texas offense has been clicking on all cylinders. Wide open, Hunter, got it. That's their 5th 3 of the second half.
Really, really good ball movement that time. They went from good to great.
A lot of people came into this season wondering how are Tyrese Hunter and Marcus Carr going to play together on the floor. Not only are they playing well together, they're best friends now.
Yes, and neither one of them, as I said earlier, is a pure pass-first point guard because they both can score. But to your point, Rich, they have really, really connected. Marcus getting ready to check back in.
There's Bishop, left hand high, no, gets his own miss. No surprise to Longhorn fans, Brock Cunningham's the first on the floor. And it's a jump ball. It'll be Stanford possession.
Now, when we say good to great, that means you pass up a good shot for a better shot for a great shot. Here's a good example. Morris, Rice, Hunter. Oh! Good movement versus the zone. And the Texas bench loves it. Rich, I always felt as a coach that if I left my team, and I felt we were well coached when I had some good teams at Manhattan, St. John's, they didn't need me the first 3 or 4 practices. The residue and the culture of toughness and work ethic would be there so that my upperclassmen could, if I had an illness, right? What you're seeing right now is the residue of the toughness and the togetherness that Chris Beard, quite frankly, has built over a year and a half. And that today, Rodney Terry, the coaching staff, and the players are manifesting on the court. The key for Rodney Terry now is to keep the standard high going forward so that this team continues to play hard, play deep, play together.
They've got one more game before Christmas. They're taking on Louisiana on the 21st. Then they have the Christmas holiday off. They'll be back on the floor on the 27th against Texas A&M Commerce.
When we say experience, it's not just a nebulous word. It's true with this team.
Absolutely.
And, we've been in practice and games this year. And I'm going to tell you something. Nobody has a more definitive coaching voice than Chris Beard. And it's not here. And we don't know when it's going to be back. But I do know that the key for Rodney Terry and that staff now is to keep that intensity going as they go forward. This team has a chance to stay in the top 10 all season.
And it sounds like Pollyanna and hyperbole, but when we talked to Rodney Terry about that, he said we control what we can control. And that's exactly what he's focused on. Talked to Rick Barnes, former head coach that he was an assistant for at Texas, and he said, Rick said, focus on the team.
Yes, yes. When you coach or play, your first key is to overcome adversity. Adversity comes, and you look at Mississippi State, what they're dealing with right now with the loss of, Coach Leach and Jonathan Chamo-Chacho with that hurt last year at Baylor. Handling adversity is part of the territory when you play or coach at this level.
10 on the shot clock. Morris.
That's a one young man that they would love to get going. Arterio Morris, who's an outstanding shooter, but sometimes forces the issue.
Also a homecoming for him, Dallas kid. Here's Ingram. He's been quiet afternoon, speaking of homecomings.
Nice pass.
Skip pass, Geeler. And he rattles it home.
He's been solid. We mentioned he's a preferred walk-on. It's good footwork again, Rich.
Here's Carr. This time.
Bishop, love it.
The tap back. And here's Hunter, another 3 ball.
Christian Bishop has come up with a lot of loose change today on the glass.
Now Ingram will try for 3 and knock it down.
I like it. An easy look for Harrison Ingram, which we haven't said much this season. Good job by Geeler keeping this offense rolling.
Well, when Harrison Ingram tested the NBA waters, the scouts told him, improve your 3-point shooting. He did. ESPN is Ashley Jones and number 10 Iowa State facing Maddie Sechrist and number 25 Villanova. Coverage starting at 3:30 Eastern and is also on the ESPN app.
Those two young ladies represented the United States last summer, Rich, in 3x3 basketball.
Right.
Both had success. Maddie Sechrist went down to Santo Domingo and won a gold medal in the FIBA Americas under-23 tournament, and Ashley Jones represented the United States on our national team. 3x3, Rich, 12-second shot clock. A lot of fun. I've gotten involved, and we're going to try to get the men to the Olympics in 24. But those two young ladies, really talented players at Iowa State and Villanova.
Something tells me that is going to happen in 24. But those two ladies could fill it up. And if you're a women's college hoops fan and living in the Metroplex area, make your way over to American Airlines Center. Immediately following our game, we have back-to-back women's games, and they're dynamite. Baylor's taking on Arizona, USC and Texas, and then we'll be back on the air on ESPN2 with number 11 Baylor men's team taking on the Washington State Cougars.
You're going to see one of the best backcourts in college basketball tonight. Baylor Bears, we mentioned Keontae George, who's been terrific this season. Every bit as good as advertised.
Yeah. George, Adam Flagler, LJ Cryer.
And by the way, Keontae's back home. He's a Louisville native. Yeah, spent last year at IMG Academy. What I love about what Scott Drew said about him is he's a much better defender, passer, and a great teammate for someone who they know is going to be likely a top 10 pick.
Yeah, amazing a kid recruited and rated that highly. Necessarily don't pay attention to the scoring for Keontae George. Although he can fill it up. He's got 3 20-point games.
Scores like he pleases. Yeah. Yep, he can really score it. But you're right, does a lot of little things.
Stanford with 8.5 to go, trying to hang around in this one. They trailed by as many as 16, but they've cut that deficit in half. Number 7 Texas up by 8 right now.
We had a great talk with Coach Haas last night. He loves this. He loves being at Stanford. He loves the idea of coaching true student athletes.
It's funny, I had them down in Orlando for the Invitational a few weeks ago. And I said, you guys planning anything on Saturday with the day off? He said, yeah, we're going to go on all the rides. He feels like college should be an experience. And these kids have been given a gift, and they want to take full advantage. It's not just about basketball with Jared Haas.
I asked him, I said, do you guys have study hall? He said, no, these guys don't need study hall. They take care of business on their own. I used to hate that as an assistant coach. Had to go check study hall, wake guys up sometimes.
And what other head coach, with all due respect, what other head coach knows the major of every one of his players? He was rattling them off yesterday to statistics, biomechanics, engineering, medicine. That's life on the farm. Here's Ingram.
Shoot it again. They got a new clock. I didn't think the ball hit the rim, but they reset it.
Jones way off the mark. And Rice clears on the weak side.
I like that they're pushing it.
Nice pass, Jabari Rice. And Allen can't finish it off.
I think Texas has got to play this way. They play at a good pace.
And that foul's going to go on Timmy Allen. Couldn't get position on Harrison Ingram. When we come back, Stanford will be at the free throw line trying to cut into this Texas lead.
We know y'all.
Preseason poll for the Pac-12. Stanford, most of the coaches and media think that they're going to be pretty good. Preseason number 5. And you look at the teams ahead of them. UCLA, big win yesterday against Kentucky. Arizona, big win yesterday against Tennessee.
Yeah, no question. And we mentioned earlier, Jared Haas, a terrific player at Kansas. Mr. Floor Burn, his senior year, Rich, he averaged 4.7 floor burns a game. And I said to him last night at practice when we were talking to him, you would have made a fortune nowadays in NIL money. Can you imagine doing NIL appearances for like a flooring or carpeting company?
There you go.
In Kansas City or Lawrence? He would have cleaned up pretty nicely. But one of the popular players ever play at Kansas, USLBM, who's sponsoring Coast to Coast.
There you go.
See, he was ahead of his time.
He might be brokering a deal and you didn't even know it.
It could be.
Ingram short on the front end of that 1-and-1. And just to tie a big bow on it, Jared Haas obviously started his college career at Cal, playing with Jason Kidd, the head coach for the Dallas Mavericks, who played here.
Yep. Transferred to Kansas to play for Roy Williams, Uncle Roy.
Marcus Carr kept his dribble, hit the deck.
You call timeout if you can. Nope.
And it's a jump ball. It'll stay Texas basketball with 5 on the shot clock.
Actually works out well if he knew there was a jump ball. And they maintain the possession.
Well, a good portion of this first half, Fran, was spent lauding the 2 defenses. It was a low-scoring, hard-fought game. Now Texas has gone a little bit asleep offensively. They've gone with no field goals in their last 4 minutes. And the drought continues, and that's allowed Stanford to stay in this game.
Little ghost screen right there.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that means he goes to screen, but then he disappears, so it confuses the defense because there's actually no screen.
Jones, make that angel for 3.
They've hung around, Rich, no question. Oh, nice shot fake again.
So they count that as a 2-pointer. And a scramble for the loose ball, and Angel comes away with it.
And I think, again, your 2 best players have got to be involved in this play. Ingram, Jones. The high ball screen here for O'Connell.
O'Connell takes it himself. And 1, Michael O'Connell.
That time, Michael O'Connell used the screen out top, and Tyrese Hunter never got back in front, but he got no help from the screener's man. Nice job right here. You see him get downhill. You see that right there, Rich? We used to say, when you're even, you're leaving. What do I mean by that? If you're even with the defender like he was right there, there's no way Tyrese can get back in front. Really nice job by the young man from Mineola, New York. And what a great story he is, because he was originally recruited by Maryland to play lacrosse. And he played at Blair Academy for Joe Mantegna, a great coach. And Rich, when Tyrell Terry left after his freshman year, and we wish Tyrell the best, he's retired from basketball this past week, they had a need for a guard. And this kid in his heart always wanted to play college basketball, even though he was one of the top 100 lacrosse players in the country. Terrific.
The only top 100 basketball and lacrosse recruit. Here's Carr. And the drought continues. A 13-1 Stanford run has put them to within 4 of the number 7 Texas Longhorns. Rodney Terry's first game as acting head coach was at home at the Moody Center on the campus of University of Texas, and the Rice Owls took him to overtime before they pulled out the win. And it was that man who dominated that overtime with 8 points.
And the Rice game was a Malax moment for sure. And Texas trying to avoid that right now.
Still just a 2-possession ball game. Healer tried the bounce pass, and it goes off Stanford Cardinal out of bounds.
And I thought Benny forced that one right there. A lot of traffic on that bounce pass. He's been pretty good today, the preferred walk-on. And Coach Hass is going to talk to him right now. Remember, this kid, this is his second game. He's been injured, and he mentioned that he's a preferred walk-on. Pretty good, I'd say.
Stanford mired in turnover issues. 18 today, that's a season high. Hunter, tough too. And Ingram grabs it. Rodney Terry exhorting his troops to lock down defensively.
Ingram very comfortable with the ball.
Angel can't knock down the corner 3. Here comes Hunter. Counting down to 5 minutes left. Cunningham. Wide open Rice. Top of the key, and it's in and out.
Good look, man. Good look. Good pass by Cunningham. Rice thought he had another one. And basketball gods not cooperating.
O'Connell picked up his dribble at half court. Lucky to get it to Jones, who got hacked in the paint, and Michael Jones will go to the line with 12 points.
This young man last year played with Foster Lawyer at Davidson. Had the good fortune of being coached by one of the all-time greats in college basketball, Bob McKillop.
So here's Jones at the free throw line, 75% on the season. Misses the first. Wednesday night, the inaugural Jumpman Invitational continues from Charlotte, featuring Michigan and North Carolina. That's at 7 Eastern on ESPN. There are 4 games over Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 men's, 2 women's. The first ever year of the Jumpman Invitational.
Porter Moser and the Oklahoma Sooners will be in that one.
Jones 1 for 2. Mentioned Stanford was in that Orlando Invitational. Oklahoma won that.
Yep. Grant Sherfield, one of the better transfers in the country. Nice
Backdoor, Timmy Allen for 2.
Yep. Nice job by Timmy Allen to connect with Marcus Carr.
Allen with 13. The lead up to 7 for the 7th-ranked Longhorns.
Good screen.
Jones, short. And Rice clears.
Yeah, Stanford did everything right there. Nice flare screen. Jones couldn't knock it down. Timmy Allen, to me, is a 15-8 guy, Rich. I'll just say it again. They need Timmy Allen to be the straw that stirs the drink, along with these 2 terrific guards, Carr and Hunter.
He's got 13 and 3 rebounds and 5 assists today. Stuff in the stat sheet as usual.
Take a timeout.
5 on the shot clock, now 3 to shoot. Carr needs to go. Knocks it down over the outstretched arm of Michael O'Connell.
That's that experience. Marcus Carr, first at Pitt, then at Minnesota. Last 2 years at Texas. He can get his own.
Keefe off the pick and roll, and James Keefe will go to the line and shoot 2. But we have our final media timeout of this contest, one that Stanford's trying to keep in it, but Marcus Carr trying to put the nail in the coffin. Opportunities. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah starting tonight. You mentioned Adam Sandler. There's 8 crazy nights coming up for some of us.
I've been checking it out. He's been tweeting about it. My good buddy. I say that facetiously. Of
course, Fran Fraschilla, star of stage and screen, was in the Netflix hit movie Hustle.
Quickly.
Back last spring.
Quickly.
I waited up till 3 in the morning to be the first one to watch that. Good movie.
It was a good movie. Great people.
Yeah.
A lot of basketball people in that movie. James Keefe's been solid today. We mentioned his dad, one of the all-time greats at Stanford. And his sister's part of some national championship volleyball teams. He's got a younger sister now at Duke.
Let's not forget his mom, Kristen, was an Olympic volleyball player. I think Adam would probably say he got his athletic DNA from mom.
Could be. But he plays with good toughness. I like James Keefe.
He's got 8. It's a 7-point Texas lead with the ball coming up on 3 minutes to go. Texas looking to improve to 9-1 on the year. Timmy Allen.
Really nice execution out of a timeout. They inverted their offense. They put the point guard in the post, and Timmy Allen came off that screen. How many has he got, Rich?
He has 15 today.
He's got to get you 15 tonight if Texas is going to be in the mix for Big 12 championships this year. Kansas just looks like a juggernaut right now.
And that's a tough 2 by Michael Jones.
How good is Kansas?
Yeah.
Wow.
They just laid it on Indiana yesterday.
Blew out Missouri on the road. No surprise.
Tell you, you see Dylan Mitchell with this Texas team, Keontae George, who we'll see later with Baylor, Grady Dick with Kansas.
Yeah, good freshman.
Keefe, no, the rebound to Dessou. And now the Longhorns looking to salt this one away with 2 minutes to go in the contest. And Tyrese Hunter getting set to check back in.
And Tyrese early in the year has battled some cramping issues, and he's going to come back in now after taking care of that.
Marcus Carr's had a nice afternoon. He has 14, coming off 28, a season high against Rice.
I think the word I'd use for Marcus Carr this season is efficient. Last year, I think he had to shoulder too much of the load, and that's changed this year, and he's a better player.
Well, he's 6 for 13 from the field. That's fairly efficient for Marcus Carr, who earlier in his college career was a high-volume shooter.
And I think this year, Rich, unlike being at Pittsburgh as a freshman and a couple years with Richard Pitino at Minnesota, and last year when we watched Texas, he does not have to do as much with Tyrese Hunter. You know, I call those guys co-pilots. You are not going to get on a plane tomorrow back to the Tampa area if there's only one pilot in the cockpit.
Right.
And so when you have a second ball handling guard, he takes the pressure off of you. And that's exactly what Tyrese Hunter has done. And that's why you mentioned how well they've played together this year.
And if you take a look at the Texas sideline right now, you don't see one head coach standing up. You have Rodney Terry there, but Bob Donewald, and Chris Ogden, and Steve McLean, they're all in unison standing up and coaching.
Most of the time, that's good, but but there comes a point in time where, okay, Rodney Terry's got this.
One voice.
Everybody sit down and get this under control. We mentioned the experience of that bench. And again, Rich, there's been a residue of toughness, of competitiveness that's built up over a year and a half under Chris Beard. Again, the news is we don't know when he'll be back. That's for the authorities and the university, but we do know they're going to continue to play basketball. And this team has the experience to continue to get better.
One of the best teams in the country coming in. Ken Pom had him rated number 6 overall, number 5 in defensive efficiency, number 22 in offensive efficiency.
Little pressure now by Stanford. You got to throw caution to the wind and see if you can force some easy turnovers right here. Difficult to do with 3 guards, 2 of them who handle the ball a lot.
And Texas in the 1-and-1. Minute 20 to go. Ingram slapped it away out of bounds. No foul, but it'll stay Texas basketball.
This would be a good time with 17 on the clock if you're Stanford. Trap the ball once. It's a low clock. Go trap him once.
Ingram guarding Carr. Now he backs off. Angel steps up on a high hedge. Carr took on the entire Stanford defense and came up short.
Gotta have to play quick.
Backdoor cut. Pin by Allen. And we're going the other way. Here's Carr with the foul, and he'll go to the line and shoot two.
That's the kind of toughness and energy that Timmy Allen needs to bring to this team. You mentioned Carr, you mentioned Hunter. The straw that stirs this drink, in my opinion, is this guy on both ends. You know you've got a terrific backcourt, but we've seen this kid in the past be an all-conference player in the Pac-12, and I love the excitement and enthusiasm. Doug Sermons might be saying right now, hey, tone it down a little. He's a great kid, man. Tough background, lost his mom, as we mentioned, but every time you see him, he's got a smile on his face.
Coming up later today, there's women's college basketball on ESPN. Ashley Jones and number 10 Iowa State taking on Maddie Siegrist and number 25 Villanova. Coverage starts at 3:30 Eastern and also on the ESPN app.
And we'll see Texas and Baylor here today as part of this quadruple header. And Bill Fennelly always has a terrific team up in Ames. And Ashley Jones, his star player.
Carr, 75% free throw shooter, knocks them both down. He has 16. We're under a minute to go.
That was a 5-point play right there by Timmy Allen defensively.
Jones, little step back inside the arc. Cunningham.
Got a foul now. Time to foul.
Keeler's trying to, but Carr got it away to Cunningham. And now Allen controls.
Good job by Allen. Not a good free throw shooter. Smart play by Timmy Allen. Marcus Carr, 75%. He got rid of it.
And now this partisan crowd inside American Airlines Center on their feet, cheering on the Texas Longhorns, as it looks like they will escape with a win over Stanford.
Well, we did it earlier, Rick, but I want to make sure that we properly congratulate the Texas women's volleyball team on that national championship yesterday. That's a big deal. They hadn't won it, I don't think, in probably 10 years.
Yeah, a decade since Jared Elliott and company marched all the way. They were the #1 overall seed. They took down Louisville in the finals to take the national title, something that the Texas men's basketball team has their eye on as well. One of about a dozen teams who right now could say they have a shot. Well, they traveled a couple hours away from home to take on the Stanford Cardinal, but it sounds like a home game at the Moody Center right now. Number 7 Texas survives and wins it by 10 over the Stanford Cardinal. Texas will improve to 9-1 on the season, and Stanford drops to 4-7. Balanced scoring today by the Texas Longhorns offense. 15 for Allen, 17 for Marcus Carr, 15 for Sir Jabari Rice. And Rodney Terry's nice enough to come over and join us for a post-game chat